Okay, so now we're going to do problem D of the warm-up for lesson 5. And again, we're just trying to simplify this expression so that we can figure out what is the value of x. I have a similar problem up here, -7 plus or minus the square root of -31, all of that divided by 10. The only difference here is that I have a negative value in the radical. Anytime I see a negative inside that square root sign or that radical, I know I'm going to end up with i's, with imaginary numbers. Okay, so keep that in mind. So my first step here is to try to simplify this square root of -31. Is -31 a perfect square? No, it's not. But I need to look to see if there's any numbers that are factors of 31 that are perfect squares. So if I make my list of perfect squares, and I really only need to go up to 31 because it can't be higher than 31. If I check all of these, none of them are going to be factors of 31 except for one, but that doesn't really help us out at all. So 25 is not, 16 is not, 9 is not, 4 is not. So I can't simplify that -31 in terms of factoring out a perfect square, but I can get rid of the negative sign in the radical. To do that, it's really easy. Instead of writing it as the square root of -31, I write it as I times the square root of 31. That's how we take out the negative out of the radical. We just pop an I out in the front. Okay, so if I work the rest of the problem around it and come down, I have x equals -7 plus or minus I times the square root of 31 over 10. You all with me so far? Yeah? So now I'm going to set this up into two separate fractions. I'm going to say the first fraction is, or I should say, I could rewrite this whole thing as x equals -7 over 10. That's my first part. And then I have plus or minus. And my second part is going to be I times the square root of 31 over 10. And I'm going to see that there's not much more I can do to simplify these. I can't simplify this first fraction at all. And I can't simplify the second one. So what I end up with is x equals -7/10. And I'm going to treat this plus or minus. I'm going to break it down here into two separate ones. So my first one will be a plus, my second one will be a minus. So my first one is -7/10 plus I times the square root of 31 divided by 10. And again, since this was a plus or a minus, now I'm going to do the minus. So, comma, or x equals -7 over 10 minus the square root, I times the square root of 31 over 10. These are the same expression. It's just that one has a plus and one has a minus. And again, that comes from this plus or minus right there. So can you guys try to do letters A and C?